Hello and welcome. In this lecture we're going to add a visual to know when the current action is busy. So here's the game right now. We can click to move and we already fixed the issue with having actions on top of other actions. But right now there's no visual, so I can tell it to move really far, then swap to the spin and try to spin. And it doesn't work, but it shouldn't even let me touch these buttons. So let's add a nice visual on top of here to block the buttons and tell us while the current action is busy. Okay, let's go into our canvas. And let's make a new empty game object. Call this the action busy UI. Let's swap the anchor to anchor on the bottom and put it a bit under there, okay. Now for the image itself, let's go inside the action busy, create a new UI image. And on the rect transform, let's make this one stretch to occupy the entire parent, put everything on 0, 0, okay. And by the way, here's a quick tip on how sorting works with the UI canvas. Basically, it's all based on position over here in the hierarchy. The goal is for this visual to be on top of the action buttons, so we need to make sure that this game object is under that one on the hierarchy. Basically, the hierarchy is the rendering order, so in this case, first it's going to render the unit action buttons, and then it's going to render the action busy on top of that. Okay, so this is what we want. We do want it to be on top. Now let's just make some text, so a new UI, let's create a new text object. Let's change the text to say busy. Let's also make it occupy the entire parent, so stretch everything and put 0 on everything. Now let's also scale the parent, so let's put it quite a bit bigger, so maybe something like this. Just make sure to occupy the entire buttons, okay. Then for the color, let's put this color with a kind of black background. Then on the text itself, let's put it in bold, put it center, put it down the middle. And for the color on text, let's put something like an orange. Alright, so that's it. So this is the visual setup for our busy bar. And here's yet another quick Unity tip. In the hierarchy, if you look on the left side, you have these two buttons. So the right one is to lock the object. If I tick on this one, then I can no longer select this object, so I cannot select the busy because I ticked that one. And the other one hides the visual. So if I click on this one, there you go, the visual, it is still there, but it is hidden over here on scene view. Again, it's important that this is different from disabling the game object. If I go into the game view, over here I still see it, the game object is still enabled, it is simply not visible on the scene view. So this is just a nice way to not have the UI totally cluttered as we add more and more elements. Just keep some of them visible and some of them invisible. Okay, so with this we have our nice visual. Now let's make a script to run this. So let's make a script with the same name. So let's create a new C# script on the scripts. Make it the action busy UI. And let's attach the script to the game object, okay, and open. Now here our goal is actually going to be pretty simple, so let's make this your challenge. So your goal is to add the logic to show or hide the visual. For that you can use GameObject.setActive to enable or disable the game object. And in order to know whether it's busy or not, for that make an event on the unit action system to know when the busy changed. Alright, so go ahead, pause the video and give that a go. Okay, welcome back, so let's add this logic. First over here, let's make some simple show and hide functions. So let's make a private void show and then a private void hide. Then like I said, the simplest way is to just set the game object.setActive. And for show, we set it active to true, and for hide, we set it back into false. Okay, now let's handle the event. So let's go into the unit action system. So here we are, unit action system. We already have a bunch of events, so let's make another one. Let's call this onBusyChanged. And here let's actually do something interesting just to learn a bit more. Now usually we would just fire off a normal event and then make some function to return the busy state. That is one approach, it's what we've been doing so far. However, another thing we can do is we can just pass in the new busy state as an argument to this event. The event handler class has another variation that supports generics. Again, I'm going to cover generics in more detail a bit later on in the course. Basically just lets you use any type. So here you can use the version with generics, and let's say we want to use bool. So what this means is that in the function signature, instead of having an object and then event args, in this case we're going to have an object and the second parameter will be of type bool. Now here I should also mention that yet another way you could do this would be to make a class that extends event args and then use that one instead of using bool directly here. But that will require defining another class for our custom event args, so in this case, for this super simple example, let's just use bool directly. Okay, so really now let's see where we fire this, so let's see basically where we are modifying is busy. So here it is, we've got the set busy and clear busy, so we modify that one, and when we do, let's invoke the event as usual. Then for here, for the sender, let's pass in this, and for the boolean, let's pass in the isBusy. And same thing on this one. Okay, that's it. So now let's go back into our busy UI script. And over here, let's subscribe to that event. So we need to make it on start since we're accessing an external reference. So in here, let's go into the unit action system, the instance, and subscribe to the on busy changed. So let's make this one. We just need to make sure we use the right signature. So in this case, object sender, and then we have a bool for the isBusy. So here we subscribe, we'll listen to this event. And when this happens, so if isBusy, if so, then we want to show the UI element, and if not, we want to hide it. Okay, that's it. And by default, no action will be taken right on start. So on start, let's start off with it hidden. Okay, that's it. So here is a super simple script and everything should be working correctly. So let's test. So here we are and there's no busy visual so far. Okay, that's great. Now if I take an action, there you go, there's the busy, it shows up, and as soon as the action finishes, yep, it goes away. So I can take any action, like take a spin, busy, and boom, it's done. All right, awesome. So here we had a really nice visual to know when the current action is busy. And as usual, we made sure to use events in order to make our code nice and clean with everything as decoupled as possible. Now the next thing we should do is right now we have no limit to action points, so we can keep spinning until infinity. So let's add some sort of action point cost in the next lecture.